Hey everybody! Welcome to our channel Living in Richmond, Virginia, where we show you exactly what it's like to live, work, eat, and play right here in our VA.
If you're looking to learn more about the City of Richmond and where you might want to live, you're in the right place. This video is going to focus solely on the City of Richmond.
We are going to take you through 7 different areas of the city, including the Fan, the Musuem District, the West End, Forest Hill, Churchill, Northside, and Westover Hills.
We have drone footage, GoPro footage, and tons of information about each of these areas, including pricing,
nearby amenities,
the pros and cons of each area,
and the differences between them.
Now, if you're looking for more information about the suburbs surrounding Richmond, this isn't the video for you. But don't worry, we've got you covered.
Be sure to check out our updated Where to Live in Richmond video, which focuses heavily on the surrounding suburbs.
If this is your first time to our channel, welcome. I'm Taylor Jefferson.
And I'm Sarah Jefferson, and we own and operate Jefferson Grove Real Estate.
We are your Richmond relocation experts. And no lie, we've helped people from all over the world relocate to Richmond.
And if you're thinking about doing the same, here are 3 things you need to do.
The first is to download our free Richmond Relocation Guide. It's full of useful information all about Richmond and the surrounding areas. The link is in the comments below, it's on our website, and in the About section of our channel.
The next thing is to check out our playlist that says Start Here, and definitely watch the first 2 videos. They will quickly bring you up to speed on what you need to know.
And the third thing to do is to subscribe to our channel. We already have over 100 videos and we have lots more content coming up that you don't want to miss.
Now, with all that said, let's start exploring the City of Richmond.
First up, we're going to start with the 2 areas most commonly associated with living in the City of Richmond, and they are the Fan and the Musuem District. They are located adjacent to each other, with the Fan situated between the VCU campus and the Boulevard, and the Musuem District west of the Boulevard and east of 195. Both of these areas will deliver beautiful, charming, historic homes, and the walkability to excellent nearby amenities is through the roof. And if that's what you're looking for, I would definitely start here. Given their proximity to each other, these 2 areas share many similarities, and I would be splitting hairs picking a favorite between the 2. That said, I do like the Musuem District's location a little bit better, given its closer proximity to Carytown and Scott's Addition. Carytown is a mile-long stretch of road just south of the Musuem District with dozens of restaurants, bars, and unique shops, many of which are housed in historic homes that were converted into storefronts. And while less exciting than the bars and restaurants, towards the west of Carytown there's a Publix, Kroger, Fresh Market, and Elwood Thompson's grocery stores, so you'll have everything you need for daily living. And from there, as you head east, it gets more into the exciting parts of Carytown with all the restaurants, bars, and shops.
To the north of the Musuem District, you have the Scott's Addition area, also known as the Beverage District of Richmond. Scott's Addition is a little more spread out than the Carytown area, but offers just as many dining, drinking, and entertainment options as Carytown. If you want to learn more about these areas, check out our videos on Carytown and Scott's Addition. Scott's Addition and Carytown are the areas with the densest grouping of commercial amenities within the city, plus Broad Street is almost all commercial too, and there is a Whole Foods and Kroger located along Broad. If you jump onto Google Maps, you can also see that there are lots and lots of other restaurants, bars, coffee shops, you name it, scattered all about the Fan and the Musuem District. And lastly, for nearby amenities, I also have to mention the beautiful parks close by, including Bird Park, Maymont Park, Hollywood Cemetery, Belle Isle, Texas Beach, and many more. Our favorite, though, is Maymont, which is absolutely stunning. When you are in Maymont, it's like you've been transported outside of the city and into the countryside. We always recommend that our relocation clients visit Maymont when they are in town.
So, now that you know what's nearby, let's get into the real estate in these areas, starting with the Musuem District. The Musuem District will offer attached and detached row homes ranging in age from 1905 to brand new construction, but the average year built is in the 1920s. The floor on pricing starts in the low 200s, and the high end goes well over $1 million, with sizes ranging from 850 square feet to over 5,000 square feet. And trust me, the low end of the price range is disappointing, so let's talk more about what you will realistically find and like. The average sold price over the last year was $654,000, and it would get you a 3-bed, 2.5-bath home with just under 2,000 square feet. The average price per square foot over the last year was $317, so definitely not a cheap area for Richmond, especially when you consider that the average price per square foot for all of RVA is only $200 per square foot. What you are buying here is the location, walkability, and historic charm that can't be replicated. They aren't making any new 100-year-old homes, and inventory has always been somewhat limited, and especially so for the past year, where there were only 58 sales within the Musuem District, which is just a little over 1 sale a week.
The housing results in the Fan and the Museum District are very similar, and again, I am splitting hairs here. While I like the location of the Museum District a little bit better, I do prefer the houses within the Fan over the Museum District. Personally, I just think that the homes are a little bit more architecturally appealing. The average age of homes in the Fan is a little bit older than the Museum District's houses, so maybe that has something to do with it. Whatever it is, it would appear that the market agrees with me. The average price per square foot is higher than the Museum District's, sitting at $328 per square foot. The price range for homes is from the high 300s to well over $1 million, and the overall average sold price is $838,000. But that is skewed higher due to the gathering of $1 million homes all around Monument Avenue. When I remove those outliers, it brings the average price down to $681,000 for a 2,300 square foot, 3-bed, 2.5-bath home. There were a total of 84 sales in the Fan over the last year, which is more and to be expected given that the geographic area of the Fan is larger than that of the Museum District.
So, now that you've seen the two areas most commonly associated with living in the city of Richmond, I now want to introduce some other areas and different flavors to you. Up next is the west end of the city, which is what I call the suburbs of the city, and no surprise, it's located to the west of the Museum District. The eastern parts of the West End benefit just the same regarding location and proximity to Carytown and Scott's Addition, but as you travel further west, you start getting further away from these amenities and closer to the actual suburbs outside of the city. The big differences in the West End compared to the Fan and the Museum District is that the homes are newer, with an area average year built of 1949, and the houses are all detached with much larger yards than what you'll find in the Fan or Museum District. It's a very nice balance between the actual suburbs and the city. And there are a decent amount of nearby amenities that are walkable or bikeable within the West End itself, including the shops at Libby and Grove, the shops along Patterson Avenue. Willow Lawn has a large commercial center, and the western edge, there's a Publix grocery store anchored shopping center as well. The West End contains many different micro neighborhoods or sections within it, each with their own unique style of home feel and price range. Excluding the wildly expensive Windsor Farms area, the blended average sale price in the past year is $821,000, and that'll get you a 4-bed, 2.5-bath home with a little over 2,300 square feet. This is an expensive area, and the average price per square foot is the highest of the video, sitting at $344 per square foot. We did a deep dive into the different sections of the West End, so if you want to learn more about this area, be sure to give that video a watch.
If you are having sticker shock, here's the good news. The rest of the areas we are going to talk about now are cheaper than everything mentioned before. So now we are going to travel south of the river and head to Westover Hills and Forest Hill. These two areas are adjacent to each other, separated by Westover Hills Boulevard, and they offer very similar housing options. They remind me a lot of the West End of the city, and if you liked the West End but can't afford it, I would definitely recommend looking here. The big draw to this area is twofold. First, it's cheaper than the West End of the city, but delivers a similar fit and feel while still having a decent proximity to all of the amenities north of the river and to downtown. And secondly, it has its own nice nearby amenities within walking distance, including Laura Lee's, Crossroads Coffee, the Vale Brewing, Little Nickel, and more. And of course, you can't talk about Forest Hill without mentioning Forest Hill Park, Reedy Creek Trail, and Belle Isle. Plus, less than 3 miles away, there's a large commercial shopping center with a Target, a Lowe's, a Publix grocery store, a Walmart, and more. So now let's talk about the real estate in these two areas. As mentioned, they will deliver very similar results. Expect to find lots of 1.5-story capes, single-level ranchers, and 2-story homes with sizes ranging from 800 square feet up to 3,600 square feet. Westover Hills is a little bit younger with an average year built of 1953, and Forest Hill being a little bit older with an average year built of 1942. Prices will range from the $300,000s to the $700,000s, with a blended average sold price between these two areas of $598,000. And sticking to the theme, inventory is limited here with only 45 sales in total for both areas over the past year. So if the house is nice, be prepared to compete for it.
Up next is Church Hill, which is located north of the river and further east. Church Hill is a much more affordable area in the city with an average sale price of $430,000. So if you're limited by your budget but still want historic homes in a walkable area, this is a great place to look. You will get excellent proximity to downtown Richmond, the VCU Medical Center, all the bars and restaurants in Shockoe Bottom, and to the southeast there's the Chimborazo Park, which is beautiful. Plus, just like the Fan, but to a lesser extent, scattered all about Church Hill there are tons of coffee shops, bars, and restaurants that are all walkable. And along Main Street there's the Farm Fresh grocery store, which is actually just across from the apartments that I lived in during pharmacy school. While I was writing this, I realized that was 15 years ago, back when Sarah and I first met, and back when I had hair and none of it was gray. So while time's been a little bit harsher on me, I will say that Church Hill has improved a lot in the same time span, but it's still a very mixed bag. You'll find a wide year built range spanning more than 150 years, and you'll also have a large amount of newer construction homes to pick from too. That is because so many of the original homes were in such a state of disrepair that the best option was to tear them down and build new, and that's what many developers, investors, and contractors did. If you exclude new construction, the average year built in the area is 1911. Prices range from the low 200s to over $1 million, and the average home size is almost 1850 square feet. Not every part of Church Hill has been redeveloped or maintained the nicest, so this is one of the areas where I tell our clients to drive by the home before we schedule a showing. And that's because every few blocks can feel very different than the previous few blocks that you drove through. That's partly why the prices are lower, so there is always some give and take regarding house, price, and location. And you will have plenty of options within this area, as there were over 200 sales in the past year in Church Hill.
Up last is Northside, which is located north of the Fan and Musuem District and bordered by I-95, the Richmond Raceway, and Mechanicsville Turnpike. This is a very large area with many different sections in it, like Bellevue, Ginter Park, Edgewood, Barton Heights, Brooklyn Park, and a couple others. It honestly deserves its own video because each area has its own unique flavor and feel. As a whole, on average, this area is the cheapest in the video, with prices ranging from the $100,000 investor specials all the way up to $1.6 million. But the average is much closer to the lower end of that range, sitting at only $356,000. There are plenty of streets with beautiful, large, older homes that have really nice curb appeal, but expect to pay more for those types of houses. Probably the most common house style is the traditional American four-square home with stucco siding, and those will be closer to the area average price as long as they are around 1,900 square feet in size. The average price per square foot is only $211, which isn't much higher than the blended Richmond average, and the reason for that is not all of the areas in Northside are as nice as the areas previously mentioned in this video, and the commercial amenities are far more hit and miss too. Some of the commercial areas feel dated and run down, but not all. And while the western edge of Northside does benefit from its proximity to Scott's Addition, and acknowledging everything is relative, I do think all of the other areas in the city we talked about today are better, and the market seems to agree given the area's lower cost. Another reason prices are lower is that it seems inventory is always available, and there were over 440 sales in Northside over the past year.
Now, your budget may dictate where you need to look within the city to find your next home.
Or you may decide you want to give up a prime location in order to get a nicer home.
So, let us tell you real quick what other compromises and cons you may have to accept regarding living in the city.
The real estate taxes in the city are higher than any of the surrounding counties, and off-street parking is hard to find and it comes at a premium, and even more so for garages.
Also, the city has higher crime than the suburbs, and while Richmond has gotten much safer than it used to be, we still say to our clients, use some common sense. If you play stupid games, you will win stupid prizes.
And the last con is related to the year built. Older historic homes are going to have older historic home problems, so please do not expect perfection or a low maintenance home ownership experience. It's just not realistic.
So, there you have it. You just got to see 7 of the best areas in the city of Richmond.
We will be back to our more normal upload schedule of every 2 weeks now that this video is made.
But this one was a beast to make, all the while working with all of our relocation clients actively searching for homes and the ones that we have under contract.
So please, if you found this video helpful, hit that like button and leave us a comment.
And be sure to subscribe to our channel because we have lots more great videos in the works. If you're thinking about moving to Richmond, be sure to hit us up.
We have the knowledge and expertise to help you make the move as stress-free and easy as possible.
Thank you for being here with us today, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.